Hello, Art Payne here. Hey, listen, today I got a couple of clips of a city council meeting in Fort Myers, Florida, where there's three ladies crying because they can't decide or make a decision that they would choose the safety of their population over letting illegal murderers, criminals, just in general, all kinds of criminals and gang members go free because they oppose Trump's immigration policy. I mean, it's a pathetic scene where you have three women out of six people on the council actually boohoo, whining, and crying because they can't make a decision to have safe population because they hate Trump and because they can't make a tough decision. They're crying. I mean, you can't put your life in the hands and the decisions in the hands of people who can't handle the job unemotionally. I mean, absolutely outwardly weeping because because they have an issue with the ordinance. Now, they are actually breaking state law and probably federal law. And I'll be more on that when we go through this clip because I think the actual uh, denying law enforcement to work with ICE has to be a federal crime. It has to be breaking some federal statute. And I'm surprised that the Trump administration hasn't actually forced the municipalities to change those stances by not only just suing them, taking them to court, or from there's got to be something criminal about that, right? States can't just decide that they're not going to comply with federal law because of their political affiliations. I think there's got to be something wrong with that. Because if there wasn't, then we should just be 50 separate countries, right? If they could just say, "Hey, to the federal law, just hell with you. We're going to do what we want." You know what I'm saying? So there's got to be some kind of thing they could do. I don't think I know they have bigger fish to fry in the Trump administration, but they got to start coming down on these liberal cities. I mean, hard, not just withholding money. There should be some people going to jail, losing their jobs, just getting put out the way so the machine can actually operate the way it needs to be operated. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put on a clip of the ladies boo-hoo whining and crying in the council meeting. It's an actual pathetic scene, to tell you the truth. But let's go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll react to what I see. It's absolutely incredible. I don't see how these people could actually be in charge of anything. All right, so here we go.
What's happening is going to force the federal government to do just what you said, and is to create a better pathway to citizenship, an easier pathway. So do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilman.
This is the police chief of the area telling these people how urgent it is to have a segment of his police force trained in ICE-like activities so they can have a smooth transition to get these illegal, murderers and criminals off the street, right? So they can, for the safety of the population. And so he's trying to plead with the council, So let's go ahead and.
Watkins Brown.
I just want to say to Councilperson Burson, I truly applaud you regarding your statement. It was very well said. And I, as an African American person that was brought over, my ancestors was brought over from Africa, actually against their will. I applaud you for the things that you said tonight. I really do, and I thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. So we have a motion by Councilmember Burson.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember
with comment. para nuestros hermanos latinos, porque yo pasé la mitad de mi vida aquí y la mitad en el Caribe.
Before we get too far away from the African American, just continue bullshit about keep talking about how people came over here as slaves. I mean, what does that have to do with passing an ordinance that can support your people today, as opposed to getting criminals off your streets and cooperating with law enforcement? I mean, that's another thing, you know. And I'm gonna say, I'm a black man. I'm gonna say it. We got too many liberal black women. We don't have enough conservative black women who could think straight, can think of what's best for the community, and stop thinking with this emotional bullshit that they keep talking about. I mean, everything about slavery doesn't apply to every life situation. It's just I'm sick of it.
I seriously support the pathway to citizenship, but we got to remember that racism, genderism, it's unstoppable, but we have to make the attempt to do it, to stand up to these issues and face them for what they are. Porque no progresamos si no intentamos. So I'll make the second.
Discussion.
Discussion, Councilmember Blanc.
Thank you for what you said. Thank you for your comments. I cannot begin to imagine how difficult this is for you. The argument, and I know there's no malintent to it, that we would risk federal or state funding if I don't sign up for this. It is a tumultuous day and age, and this is a day I hate sitting in this seat, but my city's not for sale.
First of all, it's not because your city's not for sale that you're going to lose funding, it's for the safety of the population. That's what it's about. The punishment is you're going to lose funding because you're going to make a stupid decision and go against the city, state, and federal ordinances and make a vote based on crying and boohoo whining and crying. Why are you on the council in the first place if you can't make a tough decision? And just follow the statutes. Jesus Christ.
Councilmember Giraldo.
Don't stop there either. Don't stop.
Person, thank you for your words and thank you. I can't.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. If I'm a resident of Fort Myers and I'm sitting here looking at these two hands crying over making a decision to save the community, I really, you know, this will be their last session. Well, you know, whatever term it is, I'd be voting them out as hard as I can. I'd probably start a petition. All three of them.
I sit here to represent my city, but my city is not just all of us sitting here. It's the people that live here to support you, Chief, to support the intent of the city. I can't stand behind this as an immigrant, the only immigrant sitting in this council, because although this isn't about me particularly, I have been in that position, and I can't. This has. I can't even express how heavy this is in my heart.
Okay, so you're an immigrant or whatever, but and you've been in. Well, you were a criminal. You were trafficking little girls and little boys. You were selling drugs. What are you talking about? I mean, it's like these people can't even distinguish between what a person is, an immigrant legally or an illegal one. They're trying to protect people who don't need protection. If you ain't here legally, then you're here illegally, civilly or criminally. And both are subject to deportation, period. That's the law. You know, follow the law.
and in my mind, knowing that the majority of us that come as immigrants, we don't come here to commit crimes. Of course, there are crimes out there, people that commit crimes, and everybody that commits a crime needs to be accountable for it, regardless if they're illegal or not. But this notion that all immigrants have a motive and we are chased after is just something I just can't.
Now, who said that all immigrants are being chased after? See, this is the ignorance of. I mean, elections have consequences. Thank God that the right people got elected just at the highest levels, but at the lower levels, you're starting to see that people are putting just any old fool on the council making decisions based on emotion. They can't even think straight. She's talking about things that's not even real. Listen, you're either here illegally or not. So the people who are committing criminals are hurting your citizens. They ain't just standing by because you're crying on a council seat. I mean, this is just crazy.
So if I can just add once again, this is not a memorandum to create a group of officers to go out there and kick in doors and actively seek out immigrants. It's a process that allows officers who come in contact with people violating the law, people creating or committing crimes that also happen to be a legal alien and have a warrant, a civil warrant for that purpose. This is allowing our police officers, our police department to do a better job. It's not what it's portrayed to be. And with that, if there's no other comments,
One more comment.
yes.
It's quite obvious we're going to get a 3-3 vote here. And I'd like to say that we table this for the workshop and vet it out. But maybe your police department can bring it forward and we can understand the issues better. So I would, if the councilman would like to amend that to push it to a workshop where we can discuss this more.
They can't even get work done because they got 3 emotional ladies. Listen, I'll tell you what. There's no way these people should be in charge. Can you imagine the president of the United States is an emotional, cackling hen woman? I mean, listen, if you're going to be in a position of leadership, you got to have some stoicism, which at least some. We can't have, if you see all the emotionalism with the liberals that's going on out now, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and even the men are acting like women in the Democratic Liberal Party. This is just incredible. So there's another one to this which follows up with the reaction of, the city and the state of Florida saying, wait a minute, we can't have a little municipality, making a rule that their police in that municipality is not going to cooperate when the rest of the state is cooperating. I mean, so here we go. We're going to play that one and react to it. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy to see what kind of people that we have, in charge of anything in this country, man. You got to have the right kind of people. So here's where it starts out, a little bit of the council meeting again, and then the news is going to break in, and they're going to start talking about, what they're violating here with this. Now, if I find out, what happened after this was just a few days ago.
Fort Myers City Council members facing blowback today on both the state and federal levels, even threats of losing their jobs and legal action against the city after their vote last night, a tie vote 3-3, shooting down a measure to train Fort Myers police officers to work with ICE agents to arrest and detain illegal immigrants. State Attorney General James Uthmeyer sent a letter today saying council's decision not to approve the agreement with Fort Myers police constitutes a direct violation of Florida law, stating that local governments are not allowed to adopt, quote, sanctuary policies, and by failing to do so will result in possible removal from their positions. Tonight,
well, first of all, that's right. I mean, how did they How could this even be brought up as a question? Why did they even go to this council in the first place if they don't have the authority to do this? That's one thing. How did they even get around a table and come up with this shit if they don't have the authority to do it? You know, here's where the men on the goddamn panel and say, listen, I know you got some bleeding hearts here, but we're not going to go ahead and put something on the table and discuss it, but we don't have the authority to enforce anything that we say in this matter. The state said this is what we're going to do, and here in Fort Myers, this is what we're going to do. You know, that's what I would have said to the panel. I mean, all the men up here looking at these fucking women whining, boohoo, whining, and crying, instead of telling them just shut the fuck up, man, and let's follow the law. You know, where are the guys at, man? Holy shit, man. Yeah, the compassion and all that kind of stuff could be behind the camera, but we don't need to have these people just sitting there making laws because they don't feel, because of how they feel, as opposed to following the letter of the law.
Alicia Gary is live in Fort Myers, where she talked to the mayor on his plans and the possible future of this agreement.
Kelly, I spoke with Mayor Kevin Anderson today. He's in favor of holding that emergency meeting because the other meeting won't take place until April 7th. So he's hoping they can hold that sooner and change one of the votes. But now with this attorney general's letter, it says they need to take action.
Even the mayor is a pussy. What are you talking about? Hoping? You're the mayor. You're the mayor. What are you talking about? I'm hoping to have the meeting instead of waiting. Make the meeting happen. Say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to rescind the stupid vote. Everybody's so wishy-washy, man. You know, just tell the people what you're going to do. So whatever you did in that council meeting is null and void. I call the police chief in and say, listen, I'm giving you permission to do what we're saying. You're going to have your guys work with ICE. And this council meeting has nothing. This council doesn't have anything, any responsibility in that at all. You don't have to answer the council. You answer to me.
And comply. Terrellyn Watson, Darla Bonk, and Diana Giraldo are the three.
They all should be fired. All three of these ladies should be get kicked off the goddamn council.
Who voted against FMPD officers training with ICE agents and even tearing up over it.
This was a tool to help our officers enhance the level of public safety. And now we've prevented them from putting that tool in their toolbox. I also think we've done a disservice because we could be putting hundreds of millions of dollars of grant money at risk. And we also put the city in the position where we're in violation of state law.
It is a
Listen, how can the council put you in position to violate state law? I mean, that's the point. How could they even make a decision like that?
tumultuous day and age. And this is a day I hate sitting in the seat. But my city's not for sale.
As coming from a people that was tormented over 400 years, I can feel how they're feeling about this. And I just don't feel comfortable with this policy.
I believe the governor could remove those who voted against it. And he has said so in the past that he would.
And he made a clear post today about it. Governor Ron DeSantis said on X, Florida will ensure its laws are followed when it comes to immigration. The days of inaction are over. Govern yourselves accordingly. Attorney General Uthmeier sent a letter to the city of Fort Myers saying not following federal immigration rules effectively makes it sanctuary policy. He said leaders need to take immediate corrective action or face civil and criminal penalties, and people could be removed from office.
Listen, what's all this could be and all of this should be? Just make it happen. What are these threats for? Governors, you're going to either do something about it or not. Man, forget these goddamn tweets. What are you doing? Just get up and say, listen, I'll get the police chief in. I say, ignore what the council said. Ignore what they say. You got indemnity from me, the mayor, everybody in there, and the cackling hands could cry all they want. I would remove them. What are you talking about? What is all this shit and this bullshit? Just remove them.
Police Chief Jason Fields holds a firm stance that this ICE training will help keep our officers and residents safe.
We did have a homicide recently where a body was dismembered. Didn't we have a sexual assault in which the
The cackling hens don't give a shit about that. All they hear is they can't even hear behind their tears. One is talking about slavery, for heaven's sakes. How can they be in charge of anything?
suspect was?
Just take a look at all the comments online today. The mayor tells me he's been getting hit with mass calls and emails of people upset over this.
Calls, lots of texts, lots of Facebook, lots of emails. And I got a text from someone who said, if you remember, Officer Whitman and Officer Jobber Millers both were killed by illegal immigrants who should have been deported. So that's a real concern.
So will those 3 council members be removed? Well, Gulf Coast News will stay on top of this story. Again, the next meeting for the city of Fort Myers Council is set to take place April 7th, but that mayor, he wants to hold that emergency meeting to try to possibly maybe even change one of those votes so they can get a majority vote on this topic. Live here in the city of Fort Myers, Elise Chingari, Gulf Coast News.
You know, listen, what do you mean change one of the votes? Just supersede whatever I don't know what the rules say. But if the mayor can't go ahead and get something passed because the council has to vote in favor of it, you know, that might be for some things, but not this, right? They shouldn't have any say in everything, right? The council might have jurisdiction over certain things in the goddamn municipality or whatever, but why would they have any say in how law enforcement is going to cooperate with the state and federal government? How is that even up for debate? That's the point. Some things can't be up. Just like the judges right now, federal podunk asshole judges are trying to stop the executive branch from even doing foreign policy. How can that be? There's some shit that they are over. There's such thing as overreach. The daggone council overstepped its boundaries, even talking about this. That's what the mayor should say. And wait, what do you mean? I'm trying to get a meeting. I'm calling a meeting tomorrow to that whatever. I'm opening in my calendar, and I'm gonna tell the council straight up, we're gonna fire you guys because, and we're gonna tell the police chief to ignore whatever came out of this council. If I have to write something indemnifying these guys, you guys don't have the right to talk about this issue. That's it. We gotta stop. We just gotta stop, man. We gotta stop letting just fools run everything. It's just crazy, you know. So I'm gonna keep abreast of this particular issue, and you know, it just got me curious how certain people are just overreaching their bounds, just like the federal judges are overreaching their bounds. I'm gonna do a live on that one as well. Matter of fact, I'll put something together on that one. But this is just a microcosm of what's going on in this country, where people don't like, they don't like the people in charge. There's remedies for certain things, but for some things, you just can't make up rules as they go because you're in opposition of what the majority wants. Nothing should be more important than the safety of the people in your population. And you sitting down here, here we go, all immigrants legal or not. So, what do you mean legal or not? If they're legal, if they're a legal immigrant, you don't got nothing to worry about. If you're illegal, hey, you know, I mean, tough titties, man. That's the way the world works. You know, if you had years to get your shit together and you didn't do it, and now you got somebody in there saying, hey, man, you were in this country for 20 years. How come you didn't get your paperwork together? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Anyway, here we go. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out. Listen, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. because we're going to do more political reactions. Hit the like button. If you listen to this at all, go ahead and hit the like button and put a comment in a chat. I mean, in the comment section on the replay, and just say, hey, what you think about the situation. I need to get some feedback. Let people know that you're looking at this. This is really not too long, but we're out of here.